Breaking news, several WWE talent have been reportedly tested positive for COVID-19, the Omicron variant. We're not sure about this. This is still a developing story, but with this coming into play, will the Thunderdome come back? Will we have several cancellations down the road? A lot of uncertainty down the road. Plus, tonight on AEW Dynamite, Tony Khan said and teased on social media that he will be making some huge announcements and a big surprise tonight. And former WWE superstar John Morrison, now known as John Hennigan, will be making an appearance in his first non-WWE related match in Mexico. We're going to cover all of those stories and more in today's top story. Hit the like button. Here we go. Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out! What's up, everyone? It is Sportskeeda Wrestling's top story of the day. I'm Jose G. Next to me, Jeremy Bennett. Today, we're covering the top headlines most talked about and trending in the world of wrestling. And today's top story is coming none other than the COVID-19 Omicron variant now starting to affect WWE. That is our lead story today. We're going to jump into all of that. Before we get into all of that, guys, make sure you are liking, sharing, and subscribing. Engage with today's show. Go ahead and share today's show in your favorite wrestling group. If you're watching us on Facebook, tag your friends in the comments so they can join in on the conversation. Go ahead and head on over to YouTube. Hit the subscribe button. Smash that notification bell so you never miss whenever we drop brand new stuff. Tomorrow night, Friday, we got Smack Talk with Dirty Dutch Mantel. Monday nights, we got Dr. Chris Featherstone with Vince Russo. Every Wednesday night, myself, Enrico El Glorioso, covering the debrief with AEW Dynamite and NXT 2.0, plus every single day of the week, covering the top headlines of the day here on the top story. Jeremy, so COVID-19 making a comeback, the return of COVID. We were just talking about that before we went live on the show.
Don't call it a comeback. It's been here for years.
I know, for real. But dude, the story, it's like early 2020 all over again. You know, first started with NFL, the NBA. We're starting to see games shut down. We're starting to see concert venues shut down. A lot of restaurants in New York already shut down. Here in Orlando, started reporting that a lot of restaurants are starting to shut down in downtown because of the rising cases of Omicron. And now it looks like, according to PW Insider, that WWE is now involved in this. What's the latest here, man?
Yeah, it looks like there are a number of talent and staff members that have tested positive for COVID. And luckily, there's not a live show Friday. They already taped that for SmackDown, so there is a little bit of time off for the holidays. But it'll be interesting to see where this goes, starting on Monday, if this affects anything major with current headlines and stories that are on Raw and SmackDown, or they're usually pretty tight-lipped. They just basically make them disappear off of TV. Outside of Drew McIntyre, almost everybody that has come down with it, they've never really announced it. So it's basically just going to be who's going to, all of a sudden disappear from TV. And, that might be your answer of who might have come down with COVID recently.
Now, it should be noted that the other holiday special, the New Year special that they had planned for SmackDown, that got nixed, didn't it?
Yeah. There was supposed to be a New Year's Eve toast and roast that was set to air next Friday night. And that was why SmackDown was going to be bumped to Fox Sports 1 on New Year's Eve here next a week from Friday. Now, it was being reported that WWE was going to do a year in review show that night. So not sure if that has changed things or what they're going to do right now, but it sounded like they were just going to do a year-end show on FS1.
Guys, diving into the comments, sound off. Let us know what you think about this developing situation. Kevin Kellam will be joining us here in just a moment. It should also be noted that on top of this story with the talents being exposed to COVID-19, there's been a cancellation of one of those shows up in Canada. There was a show set for December 30th at Place Belle in Laville in Quebec. That's no longer being done. It got postponed to March 6th. So looks like WWE is starting to bring some contingency plans ahead of time. Here's the question. We talked about it a few days ago. Are we seeing the Thunderdome again? Will it get to that point that we're going to get the Thunderdome? Because, we're starting to see this ripple effect coming from main sports now to WWE.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know if we're going to see the Thunderdome back again, but you never know. If it keeps getting worse, we will. But I think at this point, I don't think we're going to see the Thunderdome, at least in the near future. I don't think so.
There's a lot of chatter about it. There's a lot of people already starting to talk about it. I don't think we can't discard it, right, Kevin?
I don't think you can discard it at all. I mean, that's the worst case. I don't want to say that's the worst case scenario. Worst case scenario is everything just gets shut down and no one can even do a show. You can't even tape a show. Yeah. We haven't gotten to that yet. We already have people saying they might go back to the Thunderdome here. And then you have, other people just saying, everyone's arguing about the virus already and vaccines and all the different stuff. Like, listen, this is an apolitical conversation. You still have to manage the health and expectations of everyone. Hearing from Dave Meltzer, the talk is that AEW and WWE are just going to bring it back to Florida like they did, where it's the Wild West, and Florida's going to let them do whatever they want because Florida's tax revenue is based on outside money coming in from outside the state and being spent there, whether it be a production being done, to a tourism project, tourism money. But if you do this, is it going to be something that you can ticket? Is it going to be an open air thing? Is it going to be Thunderdome and a combination of live fans? Is it going to be the Performance Center, which they did before? At the same time, you listen to Big Papa Dave Meltzer, and he speculates. Mind you, what he says isn't just, Bible truth, but that makes casual fans tune out. And that affects both shows. There's a tune-out factor. You want to see like you're seeing a spectacle in front of a live crowd. And you saw the ratings go up significantly for both shows. Now, mind you, SmackDown kind of stayed steady. It lost a lot of people. But on Friday nights, it performed fairly better than expected, considering the dip in the ratings in the Thunderdome. Raw could be a different story.
Yeah, and just to kind of address this question here, Todd Laney's asking on Facebook, with Omicron variant surging in the United States, do you see WWE stop doing live shows in the upcoming weeks? I personally don't think so, because even when COVID first hit, they didn't stop. They went to the Performance Center and they were able to put on the live show.
I think he's saying live shows in front of audiences like that. We don't know,
Well, not in Florida and not in Texas. I'll just tell you right now.
Yeah, this is happening really fast. I'm in Chicago, a major market that WWE just played. They just played the Rosemont Horizon. They just taped 2 shows here. They just did the Rockford area not too far from us in Milwaukee. And they just enabled that you have to have a vaccine starting in January to go into any indoor place. That doesn't mean the staff has to get it. Doesn't mean they have to get tested. The regulations are different in every major area. New York had those testings, but look at their Omicron variant is very, very big there. I just got exposed this weekend. I'm waiting on a test to come in tomorrow. That's why I wasn't with you guys at the start of the show. We found this out about a half an hour ago. I think it's worth saying, we're going to keep politics out of this, but people get vaccinated. This isn't an issue. I don't think that's really a political problem. No. That's more of a science issue. And then if you have people that quarantine fine, they're going to be all right. It's worth noting you're going to have people that'll be all right with this, but it's going to keep them out of action. The policy for a lot of major health insurance companies and a lot of different companies you see with the NBA and the NHL is it's a 10-day quarantine if you're exposed. So it's a 10-day quarantine if you're exposed. So what if your test doesn't come up, So if I was under one of those same type of strict quarantine protocols, am I supposed to go see my family for like Christmas Eve on Friday? If I don't test, and I have to test every day until then and see where we're at. Mind you, you still have people with the booster getting it. You need the 3-shot booster. I know everyone thinks the booster is just an add-on. Now it's a 3-shot regimen because that's where we are. And the timing of this happens where the regiment that people had in the spring is already just kind of phasing out. So there it is.
Yeah, man, it's definitely a hot topic. I see a lot of people commenting that they see the Thunderdome I see it clearly in the comments. A lot of people against seeing the Thunderdome. I don't know. I could just tell you guys this, that even if we do go back down to that type of lockdown mode, WWE is always going to find a way to keep the show going. They did it that last time. and they'll do it the next time. I don't know if they're gonna stop doing live events. Everything's happening so quickly, so we just gotta wait and see.
It's also worth noting that testing is the reason this is good. You know, I think we're better prepared, and we're better prepared as a culture with sports and entertainment to address this now. And you can test people like crazy and catch it and be like, all right, okay, we can quarantine you, you know, and who are you with and what were you doing and all those different things, and who are you in the ring with? You know, it's worth noting, who are you in the ring with? Yeah. Who's reffing the match? All those different things, like who are you on the road with? So there's a lot of variables with the tracing has got to be crazy. Now that seems hard to do with a WWE roster and AEW roster, right? Now imagine that in schools, you know what I mean? Like imagine that in like your community and everything like that. I think WWE will have an easier time dealing with this than maybe some people in your community where you live, if this is as bad as it could get. But I think we're able to deal with this. I do think with vaccines that work. And the early word is that this variant that everyone's talking about now is not as strong as previous ones. So you don't get as bad of a case of it, but that's early initial
silver
data.
lining on that. Also, silver lining on that, a report just came out about an hour ago that the origin of this Omicron variant that came out of South Africa, which we have a good amount of viewerships. Thank you guys so much over there. Their cases are going down drastically, and the peak of Omicron has already gone over.
Yeah, so it could just be a timing issue as well.
Exactly.
Also, it's cold weather. You know, it's cold weather. People have common colds, so someone can have a cold and be passing this in their system with it as well. There's a lot of different variables here too, and I just think just be patient with each other and have some respect for each other in the process, even if maybe you don't agree with all of it. Just have some empathy, like just care about other people. All right, I'm not going to do the same thing that someone else is doing, but I'm going to respect their choice and stuff like that. I don't think that's a political conversation. And I also, like I said, I do think both major promotions right now are prepared for it. Ring of Honor did as much as they could to try and tape shows. So, I mean, it's a challenge, and I just think if you have some consideration, we can get through this thing. And I don't think it's a political statement. I
think it's interesting how AEW is going to be going back to Daly's Place for the TNT finale, and then they may end up staying at Daly's Place for the birth of Dynamite on TBS now if things don't get better. So,
and it's also worth noting, we don't know who is tested positive. Sometimes that stuff comes out, and it comes out months after it happened. It's worth noting, everyone's like, oh, WWE had such a problem with COVID. There were so many people that went down with COVID. AEW had a bunch of people that went down with COVID at its height when it was bad, pre-vaccine. They had several people that were around it, and they were testing, and they were just quiet about it. A lot more people in WWE were a little bit more transparent about it. It's worth noting.
Before you got on, I mentioned before you got on, Kev, I mentioned WWE outside of Drew McIntyre, they kept it quiet. They never announced who had COVID. You just noticed people that disappeared off TV all of a sudden. So,
I like I said, it's something I think people are more prepared to deal with this time around. I could see something that is not Thunderdome, but not WWE on the road or not AEW on the road. I could see that if it is as bad as it could get. But especially the Canada issue is really hard because their quarantine laws are completely different.
I mean, the NXT 2.0 studio is kind of set up perfectly for it. So you could just add in the SmackDown and Raw graphics
at the 300 CWC. People. You're going to 300 people then.
Nope.
We're thinking ahead of time way too long.
Just tell AJ Styles to stay in Florida here for time being.
Michael is asking this question here. Michael's saying, are they going to cancel the MSG show? Yes, they are scheduled for a live event, non-televised, at Madison Square Garden. There was some talk with this whole situation coming down here because this is falling on the holidays. WWE already taped a SmackDown episode for this Friday in Chicago after they aired live. So they already have one in the can. And then they were going to do a best of show on New Year's Eve that was only going to air on FS1. So that kind of just canceled because Fox wanted to do more New Year's Eve stuff on television. Yeah. That show, a bunch of those shows may be up in the air now. So it's kind of up in the air is what they're going to do. With Raw, that's more of a situation of what they could tape before day one. It's worth noting, how is day one affected by this? Are you still going to be running? Are you still going to be running that big arena in Atlanta? So there's a lot of different things here. We don't know. I think we'll know more in the next 48 hours what WWE is doing here in the next few weeks.
Yeah, I think that's everybody's just got to kind of calm down, sit down. Let's wait and see what happens. Just don't freak out. Let's jump into our second story here, guys, because we got Tony Khan making some more teases on social media today, saying that he's going to be making another huge announcement, and there's going to be a surprise tonight on AEW Dynamite. What does that exactly consist of? We don't know, but there is some stuff going down on tonight's edition of the Holiday Bash, right, Jeremy?
Yeah, we got a full card here. Of course, Orange Cassidy, Adam Cole, their feud going to be coming to a point here. A big 6-man tag with Punk, Darby, and Sting against MJF and FTR. Semifinal match with for the TBS Championship between Nyla Rose and Ruby Soho, and Griff Garrison getting murdered by Malachi Black.
Yeah, that sounds about right. That sounds about.
I don't know what the surprise is. I think Brody King.
He said he was supposed to have a surprise last week. We didn't get a surprise.
I think Brody King debuts tonight, but I don't think that's the surprise either. I think there might be more to it than Brody King, because basically Malachi Black pretty much said Brody King's coming anyway. So, but I think Brody King might show up tonight. But yeah, I don't know what the big surprise is going to be. I don't know if it's going to be a free agent, somebody from Ring of Honor, possibly. Jonathan Gresham has been talking about wanting to get in the ring with Danielson and Punk. Maybe we set up a Gresham and Danielson match down the road now that we are probably postponing the Danielson and Hangman. I bet they probably are now going to push that off to Revolution now in March, since that's 2 months away. They'll probably make that the main event after having that tremendous 60-minute Broadway. So that could be the surprise. I don't know. The Briscoes could show up maybe and screw FTR and MJF. Don't know. There's a lot of possibilities.
Should be a good show. I know it is a stat card tonight for the holiday special. Kevin, what about you, man? What do you think about this announcement or surprise that we can get tonight?
Tony knows how to stir the pot. And when you're trying to, fight for an audience of, 1 to 2 million people watching your TV show every week, you want to keep them there. This is a holiday week. Are people going to check out early on their regular routine of watching television? Don't do that. Keep the pot hot. As much as people don't want to hear this, AEW is a lot more engaged in the sense of show and not tell. And they need to tease. WWE does it a lot, but the way AEW does it is a little bit more forthright. We will give you a surprise. We believe the surprise will benefit you. WWE does, hey, here are some cool matches you didn't know you were getting. Oh, okay, cool. And the Royal Rumble is going to be sweet. The WrestleMania is going to be sweet. They have a different structure of expectations and stuff like that. With AEW, I almost think that the weekly television show is a bigger deal for them than sometimes pay-per-views are. Pay-per-view payoffs are important. You're going to pay for it. Obviously, it's critical. Mm-hmm. But in the long run of the game, where are they making most of their revenue? They're making it from a television contract. Part of that is tied to pay-per-view, but you have to have big things on it, and this is a hardcore audience that is feverishly invested in what they do. They have not teased one of these things and under-delivered. There's been time. Well, no, there's some. We thought we got Christian Cage before we got CM Punk, right? And
Adam Cole did promise a Christmas gift, and so maybe it's Kyle O'Reilly that's coming in tonight. So.
And that would line up with his contract status and his availability and stuff like that, too. Yeah. Sheely Walker watching from Philadelphia. Wawa or Sheets, let us know if you're Wawa or Sheets if you're in PA. Maybe it's going to be some qualifying matches for the Owen Hart Cup tournament. We'll get more clarification about that tonight as well. These are all things that Tony Khan was beefing up here on Busted Open Sirius XM. Tip of the cap to Dave LaGreca and the crew there. Tip of the cap to them. Great show. If you have Sirius XM, it should be daily viewing here. Other people saying, could we see Titan Adam Shear, formerly known as Braun Strowman? That would be a surprise. That'd be quite the surprise. But I feel like we're getting Brody King. We're getting Brody King. All signs point to that. It's well reported here. We're getting Brody King for sure. Steven Chambers wants this one. This has been teased. The Briscoes have talked about it. The Briscoes, the tag team of Ring of Honor, now the reigning GCW tag team, one of the top independent organizations in the world. They have already put out promos saying, Tony, buy us flights, buy our tickets. We'll get there. And FTR came out at the Final Battle pay-per-view. The match was teased. Are they doing that now? Are they waiting on it? What do you think?
I don't know, man. I think for for this holiday bash special show that you're doing, I think you should. Why not? Create a little bit of buzz around it. I think it'll be good for AEW. Even if it's just like Brody King and just like a hand, maybe one more person, that's fine. And even if it's not someone big, like a big WWE guy, it doesn't have to be a big free agent person. It could be someone from Ring of Honor that's well known. It could be a big tag team. It doesn't matter as long as it's something that the fans like. I think they should do it tonight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's probably probably Kyle O'Reilly, Brody King are probably going to be the two surprises, probably likely, but you never know. It's going to be interesting. So,
we have this. When you see this curious comment, this kind of plays back into our previous thing here. I got to bring this up here. Tyler has been. I want a clarification from this. This is what I was setting up with. Tyler says WWE should shut their doors down and stop business for about 2 years. He thinks they should just shut down. And I asked for clarification on this, and he says it's because I think they suck and they're worse than Impacted Wrestling. I don't think he meant to say Impacted Wrestling, but he said Impacted Wrestling. Tyler, that's a little bit of an overreaction. That is our overreaction of the day. A little bit of an overreaction there. Yeah. So a lot of people here. Well, I mean, what is the biggest of these options of a possible surprise? Whenever it teases surprises in wrestling, it's always someone shows up that you haven't seen, right?
Yeah.
Is it underwhelming if it isn't Kyle O'Reilly? Is it underwhelming if it isn't a new character?
I don't know. It can be. I think
we are going to get an announcement of when we're going to get Bryan Danielson versus Hangman Page 2. We do know we're going to get that, so that's coming up here. And we do have Battle of the Belts, a 1-hour TV special coming on January 8th, which is interesting because that'll be on TNT. That's the same week they moved to TBS. It's worth noting that's less than a month away. So you got to do a lot of marketing and push there right after the holidays when people are kind of marketed and sold out in terms of ads and stuff like that too. So kind of tough timing there, and see how that transition goes here. What's our next story, fellas?
Yeah, man. So John Morrison recently released former WWE superstar John Morrison is back in the news. And today we find out that he will be making his first non-WWE appearance following his release. And that appearance will be at AAA. He will be challenging for the Mega Campeonato, the Mega Championship. It's gonna be at the Rey the Reyes card, so it looks like he's gonna be appearing there. The Mayor of Slamtown confirmed it that he's gonna be wrestling Vikingo, who is AAA's main guy down there. And if you guys notice from the picture, John Morrison, John Hennigan is one to be known with AAA. He's won every single championship down there. He is beloved down in Mexico. Now, my thing is, I'm not sure. Maybe you guys can clarify this for me. Mexico being outside of the United States, does he still have to adhere to the 90-day non-compete?
Interesting here. Does that fall in his 90-day non-compete, Jeremy?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know, because the event isn't until February 19th. So it might be after his 90 days.
It might be right after his 90 days where he can do it.
Yeah. The release was on the 18th. So, yep, right there. It's right after
right
the 90
there.
It's
right there in the window.
Literally right after the 90 days. It's the first time John Morrison has competed in AAA since 2018. Of course, he competed as Johnny Mundo there, much like he did with Lucha Underground. So he will probably have quite a few appearances for them until he finds a permanent home somewhere, either Impact or AEW. Maybe even NWA. You never know. Anybody could be a player for him there.
Mixed partial farts. What a great name saying. Sportskeeda the best. Thank you. I appreciate it. Toot toot toot. Appreciate it here.
Toot.
I mean, AAA. It's a different scenario. What's their show going to be like in February? My hope is that this isn't as bad of an issue by the end of February, January. That we don't have to worry about as much of this. That the Rumble isn't really associated with all this trouble. Maybe they take a pause, put this thing in the can down in the Performance Center in the Thunderdome for a little while, and we'll see where we're at. We'll see what happens here. My hope is just everyone's safe. The least you can do is get a test before you go see your family on Christmas, man. That's the least you can do, and you can get those for free. You can buy those cheaper than paper towel right now sometimes, depending on. But the Slim Pickens, I went to the Walgreens today. They were not easy to get. It was not easy to get. So go ahead and do that. We will march on. I know we are busy tonight with an episode of The Debrief right after AEW Dynamite, correct? With you and Rico El Glorioso.
That is correcto.
That'll be right around 9 Central, 10 Eastern. And then, of course, you guys can catch Top Story every weekday right around this time, 5:30 Central, 6:30 Eastern. Sometimes we go live if it's a bigger breaking news story, so make sure those notifications are on. You know, like when Jeff Hardy got released, we went live with that as soon as we could. And then Monday nights, you can get Vince Russo covering Monday Night Raw. You can also get Dutch Mantell covering SmackDown and Rampage on Friday nights. Tons of different content. You can watch it on demand. You don't have to watch it live with us, guys. You can also get it on our podcast feed, which is pretty much kicking ass right now. We're on the charts in a bunch of different countries. One of the top 100 wrestling podcasts in the United States in multiple countries. So thank you guys so much for doing that on Apple. If you haven't done already, go ahead and give us a 5-star review if you're listening there as well. Now, here's another one. If you're a video person, subscribe to Sportskeeda Wrestling, free on YouTube. Turn those notifications on. We are marching towards 24,000. I know a lot of you watch on Facebook, but if you subscribe on YouTube, we get a little bit more of the algorithmic pace to what we do. A lot of content up there, top 5 videos, also on our other channel that we just launched called Wrestle Binge, which is just top 5 videos. It's just listicles and fun stuff like that you can binge on, and we have hours and hours of content there as well. So I just did a fun Stone Cold video talking about Stone Cold's top moments, and that was very, very fun to do.
Oh, hell yeah.
What?
Oh, hell yeah. Go and get that swab up your nose 4 times. Go get that swab up your nose 4 times. Put it in a little tube. Cover your face. Drink a beer away from your buddies. Oh, hell yeah. I'm only talking to my voice.
Doing that
voice makes me really, really hoarse.
Too much Stone Cold.
You force yourself to be really hoarse doing that voice. So when I was doing the voiceover for
COVID. Stone Cold with COVID. Got it. Guys, also don't forget our Friday episode will be pre-recorded. We won't be live. So we are going to be pre-recording that. It's going to be the Christmas Top Story Edition episode. So it should be fun. We're going to be recapping the most talked about stories of 2021. We're gonna have a beer. We're gonna have a little eggnog. We're gonna have coquito. I don't drink eggnog. We're gonna have coquito.
What is coquito? Tell them what coquito is.
That's Puerto Rican eggnog, bro. So all the nastiness of eggnog, you take it out and you replace it with coconut and condensed milk and sweet evaporated milk and cinnamon, and you put a cinnamon stick in there. It's amazing.
I've had coquito before, but I want you to explain it to people. It's really good. When you can find a good cup of it, it's pretty good.
Boricua eggnog.
Boricua eggnog. Yep, he got it right. Yep, Miss Dolly got it right. It's Boricua eggnog. Yeah, but there's no egg in it though.
Some people saying we rule. There's some people saying that. Mixed Partial Farts also saying that it is his birthday. He's 26 years of farting. Thanks.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday, bro.
Toot on. Thank you guys so much for supporting the show. Remember, you can, if you haven't done it already, go ahead and hit the like button. Go ahead and tell us what you think here. Go ahead and share the link so you don't stink here. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays to all of you. We hope you have a great holiday. Wrap your presents.
Navidad.
Cover your nose.
What?
Cover your nose. Cover your mouth. What? And we'll get through this thing together. Don't worry. We're all going to be okay. You know, we all fight in there. We'll be all right. All right. Let's do that hot tag and pick up this big nasty giant. Slam it down. All right. And of course, get your plugs in, boys. I don't want to step on anyone's plugs. Did we get everyone's plugs in? We're all good.
Guys, just go ahead and give me a follow at Jose G Official right now on Instagram and on Twitter. Recons of Wrestling right now is on hiatus. We just had our season finale last week. Go ahead and check it out. I made the best thumbnail. I put my head on Rusev when he was still in WWE, and I put Rico's head on Aiden English when he was still in WWE, and they did the holiday segment. And we both look amazing. So check out that thumbnail. It's on YouTube. Go ahead and check it out now. And you guys can catch me every day here in the Top Story and doing the news roundup. So go ahead and do that.
Jeremy, tell them where they get you.
You can subscribe to my podcast, Lost in the Midcard. We've taken a couple months off, but we will be back in the new year as well. You can find it on YouTube or also on any podcasting app. Make sure you select the new feed there. We will be back after the new year with our Marquee Awards, our 6th annual Marquee Awards.
Thank you guys so much. They gotta love the overlay at the end, blip it out. Oh, love it. All the tech stuff here. Thank you guys so much. Remember, when watching wrestling, do the most critical and important thing that you can do, which is what, gentlemen?
You have to enjoy it. Enjoy wrestling, guys.
Yeah. Tell them.
Let me talk to you.
Talk to them.
Watch out, watch out.